After arriving in San Francisco, we headed for Monterey with our traveling companions Carol and Jim Michels. We had a great dinner at the Highlands and a good night's rest. Sunday morning, we dropped Carol and Jim off at the beautiful Carmel Mission, and Clyde and I headed off to find the ocean. We found a beautiful beach and took a stroll, enjoying the lapping water as we walked. We did not know at the time that we were below the 10th hole at Pebble Beach. After picking up the Michels, we toured the 17-mile drive and enjoyed the many breathtaking views and million-dollar mansions. We stopped at the Pebble Beach Clubhouse, but were only able to view the 18th green. We did not have the time for a round of golf, nor could we have afforded it. Monday morning, we headed for Yosemite. Our first stop was at the Mariposa Sequoia Grove. These giant sequoias may exceed 3,000 years in age, reach 300 feet tall with a basal diameter of 40 feet. In total volume, the giant sequoias are the largest living things known to humans. The roots of these trees are no deeper than 6 feet. They can fan out for more than 150 feet, providing a stable base to balance the massive trunks. The grizzly giant is one of the largest trees in the grove and is estimated to be 1,800 years old. Some of its huge limbs are almost 7 feet in diameter, which is larger than the diameter of the trunk of any non-sequoia in the grove. Just beyond, we came to the California tunnel tree. Cut in 1895 to allow horse-drawn stages to pass through, there had been 2 trees tunneled out, but the other one has since fallen. The sequoia's resistance to fire, disease, insects, and decay allows them to live for centuries. Numerous fires have carved a tunnel through this clothespin tree to create its unique shape. Standing like a giant clothespin, it is deceptively large, so large a car could drive through its base. Yosemite National Park lies in the heart of California, with its hanging valleys, many waterfalls, lakes, polished domes, moraines, and U-shaped valleys. It provides an excellent overview of all kinds of granite relief fashioned by glaciation. A great variety of flora and fauna can be found here. Yosemite National Park vividly illustrates the effect of glacial erosion on granite bedrock, creating geological features that are unique in the world. Repeated glaciations over millions of years have resulted in a concentration of distinctive landscape features, including soaring cliffs, domed, free-falling waterfalls. There is an exceptional glaciated topography, including the spectacular Yosemite Valley, a half-mile-deep glacier-carved cleft with massive sheer granite walls. These geological features provide a scenic backdrop for mountain meadows and giant sequoia groves, resulting in a distinct diverse landscape of exceptional natural and scenic beauty. The iconic granite feature known as Half Dome sits high above the foot of Tenaya Canyon. There is not any other natural feature as distinctive and grand as this. It can be seen from much of Yosemite Valley, even as far away as the tunnel view at the foot of the valley, as well as the high country areas such as Glacier Point, North Dome, and Centennial Dome. You can also get a less familiar views of the dome from the Yosemite Falls. The massive sentinel of granite El Capitan is the holy grail of rock climbing. Not only do rock climbers scale the walls, sleeping in hanging tents and nosing bats along the way, but plenty of onlookers at El Capitan Meadow check them out with binoculars in what seems like a popular spectator sport as well. It is believed to be the single largest continuous piece of granite in the world. It also welcomes visitors along with the Bridal Veil Fall in the familiar gates of Yosemite Valley panorama. Like Half Dome and Yosemite Falls, it's easily recognizable and a quintessential feature of Yosemite Valley. Along with Half Dome, Yosemite Falls is the iconic symbol of the grandeur and beauty of Yosemite National Park. Falling a total of 2,400 feet, it is amongst the highest waterfalls in the world. Couple that with the fact that it is one of the easiest waterfalls to access, as you have a world-class tourist attraction. If there ever was one viewpoint that captures the grandeur and beauty of Yosemite National Park, Glacier Point is it. Situated at the end of a 30-mile Glacier Point road, this vista treats you to a bird's-eye view of Yosemite Valley, Tenaya Canyon, and the Giant Stairway. You also get a nearly eye-level view of Half Dome as well as the sideways view of Yosemite Falls. Not often is such an all-encompassing view so easily accessible, so expect to share this viewpoint with many other people. This is especially true around sunset, when many photographers come here to shoot Half Dome with the soft light of the setting sun. Bridal Veil Fall is one of the iconic waterfalls of Yosemite Valley. In fact, the gates of Yosemite, where this fall stands opposite the valley of El Capitan, is often what comes to mind when anyone thinks about this place. Ever since landscape photographer Ansel Adams captured and immortalized the gates of Yosemite, it is probably instrumental in making Bridal Veil Fall one of the most, if not the most, photographed waterfalls in the park. The waterfall is said to be 620 feet high and is one of the few waterfalls in the park that flows year-round. Even though its drainage is much smaller than that of Yosemite's falls, which doesn't flow year-round, this waterfall has more of a lush and shaded drainage, which keeps Bridal Veil Creek flowing and thus keeps the waterfall flowing. Vernal Falls is a spectacular, classically shaped 317-foot waterfall that is also one of the Yosemite's few year-round waterfalls as part of the giant Merced River drainage. After spending 2 nights in Yosemite, we headed off to Mammoth Lakes. The town of Mammoth Lakes sits high in the rugged eastern slope of the Sierra Nevada mountains. This spectacular area is dotted with pristine alpine lakes and lush forests. Mammoth is the ideal base from which to explore the scenic and historic treasures of the eastern Sierras. Mammoth is home to outdoor activities of every kind. Cast a line, play a round of golf, or relax and renew in the clear mountain air. For breathtaking views, summer visitors can take the gondola ride to the top of the Sierra Interpretive Center located at 11,000 feet, but Mammoth is best known as a winter ski destination. Heading back north, we discovered one of the oldest lakes in the Western Hemisphere, Mono Lake. It is over 1 million years old. It is hauntingly beautiful, reflecting the snow-capped Sierra Nevada in its shimmering blue waters. Together with nearby volcanoes, ghost towns, and trout-filled streams, this area is a natural wonderland. Throughout its long existence, salts and minerals have washed into the lake from eastern Sierra streams. Fresh water evaporating from the lake each year has left the salts and minerals behind, so that the lake is now about 2.5 times as salty as the ocean and very alkaline. We made a short stop along the way at the Ponderosa, the fictional setting for Bonanza, a 600,000-acre ranch on the shores of Lake Tahoe, nestled high in the Sierra Nevada. The park opened to the public in 1967, complete with a scale replica of the Cartwright Ranch house and barn similar to the one seen on television. A replica of Virginia City was added later. The original plan was to open the set to tourists once filming had wrapped. However, shuttling cast and crew up to the ranch on a weekly basis became cost prohibitive. Thus, only 15 episodes of Bonanza was shot there. The park closed in 2004. We continued to our destination for the next 2 nights, Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe has 2 distinctive sides to it. The North Shore is smaller, quieter, and less glitzy than the South Shore, which is built up with casinos, boutiques, arcades, and high-rise hotels. Lake Tahoe's exceedingly clear waters range in blues from aqua to cerulean to cobalt. Jagged granite mountains, some snow-capped even in summer's heights, soar all around. This magnificent lake, North America's largest alpine lake, 72 miles in shoreline circumference, is more than 1/3 of a mile deep in places. It contains 40 trillion gallons of water. It's probably best known as a winter paradise, having hosted the 1960 Winter Olympic Games. But Lake Tahoe in summer is a wonderful thing indeed. The drive around the lake offers unsurpassed scenery, but you get a whole different perspective from out on the water. We took a 2.5-hour paddle boat tour, providing us with the opportunity to cruise past the Buckingham's Castle and see the Lake Tahoe Basin in a new way and enjoy a fun ride at the same time. The last day of our trip gave us just enough time to make a quick stop in San Francisco to view the Golden Gate Bridge from a couple of different vantage points. We had a quick lunch of the famous clam chowder in a sourdough bread bowl, then took a boat cruise around Alcatraz Island and under the Golden Gate Bridge. Hearing all of the barking, we walked down to Pier 39 to see the sea lions. The boisterous, barking pinniples started arriving in droves, taking over the docks in January of 1990, shortly after the 1989 earthquake. Due to the plentiful herring supply, available dock space, and the marina's protected environment, the population can increase up to 900 sea lions in the winter, most of which are male. The end has come to another great trip with lasting memories of beautiful weather, wonderful scenery, and good times with great friends. A few months later, we were off again heading for the Northwest, this time with Carol and Paul Steinwert. We flew into Seattle and had lunch with my brother Wayne and my niece Carol, then headed off south, stopping at Mount St. Helens. The weather was not great, in fact, downright chilly. It is so amazing to see what Mother Nature did to that area 32 years ago, and how far it has come back from the eruption. The avalanche crashed down the mountain, traveling up to 150 miles per hour and destroying everything in its path, killing everything in a 200 square mile area. The eruption lasted 9 hours. The Northwest is known for its beauty of their rhododendrons, which, luckily for us, were in full bloom. The main focus of our trip was to enjoy the breathtakingly beautiful scenery along the Oregon coast. Every twist and turn in the road presented another awe-inspiring sight. Being the driver, I had to pull off at every opportunity so that I could take these pictures. The Oregon coast is Oregon's #1 tourist destination. People come from all over just to enjoy the scenic beauty, historical sites, and wide variety of recreation opportunities. The once thriving logging and fishing industries are slowly being replaced by increasing retirement and tourism. People are drawn to the moderate temperature, sandy beaches, numerous attractions, and more than 80 state parks and recreation areas. We made a stop at Sea Lion Caves, nature's home for wild sea lions and a variety of seabirds. An elevator descends 300 feet to the vast cavern with the roar of the great stellar sea lions, the cries of the wailing birds, and the restless surge of the ocean into the cave below form an unforgettable experience. We had been advised to take the adventure dune buggy ride, and a real adventure it was. The Oregon dunes are a unique area of windswept sand that is a result of millions of years of wind, sand, and rain erosion on the Oregon coast. These are the largest expanse of coastal sand dunes in North America. Some dunes tower over 500 feet above sea level. The dunes are much larger, more powerful, and a thrill to traverse over, and the views from the top were spectacular. Our next adventure was the historic mailboat trip 32 miles up the Rogue River through Hell's Gate Canyon to Agnes, where lunch was served. It is one of the last mailboats in the nation. They did provide us with parkas and blankets, as we were not prepared for how cold it would be traveling up the river in a jet boat, and let me tell you, it was cold. We continued on down the coast, crossing into California, enjoying the beautiful weather and scenery as we traveled. Our destination for the night was the Napa Valley area. We toured the area, enjoying the many wineries along the way. We made a stop and took the tour at the Robert Mondavi Winery, and of course we had to have a couple of samples. Like our previous trip, we ended with a quick tour around San Francisco. Since we had the car, we were able to show off the Golden Gate Bridge from various locations that most people don't get to while visiting the city. We drove down to Fort Point, down Lombard Street, the crookedest street, and up to Coin Tower, the top of Telegraph Hill, for a view of the Bay Area from the top, and then past the San Francisco Performing Arts Center, one of the most beautiful buildings in San Francisco. And of course, we had to pay a visit to Pier 39 and the Barking Seals. They rapidly have become one of the top tourist attractions. Even the tour boats show them off. Their numbers may vary with the seasons. They can be heard all over the Fisherman Wharf area. It was time to drop the Steinwarts off at their hotel and head to the airport, ending another great trip.